Hello and welcome to my breakdown of the second Project Hail Mary movie trailer, Part 2. Thank you to all who watched the first part and to all the amazing comments as well. As before, heavy spoiler warning since I'll probably be giving away most of the story. If you did not read the book or listen to the audiobook, you should probably watch something else and avoid the comments below as well. On to Part 2. Here we see Rylan touching the transparent wall towards Rocky's hand. The scene takes place either near the beginning of their encounter, since Rylan is in his EVA suit, or it could take place toward the end after Rylan and Rocky unite. We also get a clip of Rocky speaking. Definitely different from the audiobook, but in my opinion, sounds a little more authentic. Next we see Rylan and Strat's bodyguard. I wish they would release the character's name so I don't have to continue to refer to him as Strat's bodyguard. Actually, I'm going to call him Bodyguard Boyce. He and Rylan appear to be performing an experiment together. Not sure of the timing of this interaction. Bodyguard Boyce has something in his hand, and I thought it was a watch, but he has a watch on his wrist. After what appears to be a successful experiment, they clap in unison. These two seem to be developing quite a bond in the movie. Another shot of the blue, red, and white stripes from what I thought was the LP unit from Part 1, but BF5175 pointed out that the LPU was probably folded down and it was just his jacket showing. That being said, this is probably on the aircraft carrier. Next we see Rylan and Strat running toward the building where the astrophage exploded, probably after realizing who was in the building. Here is another shot from the first trailer of a map of our local stars and Strat pointing to Tau Ceti, Rylan's eventual destination, although not as zoomed in as the first trailer. Back on the Hail Mary, we see Rylan reaching for a switch which is labeled Manual Override. There are a few places in the book where Manual Override is used. It's used to move the ship when Rylan first encounters the Blimp A. Rylan manually activates the centrifuge mode to reduce the G-forces during the ruptured fuel tank incident, or when Rylan is trying to find the Blip A at the end of the book. My guess, this is toward the beginning of the book when he first encounters the Blip A. Rylan is in the control room / bridge with his hand on a flight stick, which happens to be a Thrustmaster HOTUS Warthog flight stick. Rylan presses the main gun trigger and pulls back on the flight stick. That's a pretty aggressive move for a spaceship. A beautiful shot of the Hail Mary exiting Adrian's upper atmosphere, leaving a burning fireball behind it. I'm guessing this is after Rylan and Rocky collect the Adrian's atmosphere sample and escape to a higher orbit. Tiny streaks of light, are those astrophage exiting the Hail Mary? Just a few more months. Rylan unrolls a piece of duct tape or gaffer's tape. I have a feeling this is after Rylan collects the Blip B container and plans to solder Earth's location onto Rocky's three-dimensional star map we saw earlier in the trailer. This might be the undergarment for the EVA suit. On top of the electronics mat, we can make out a blue tool at the bottom, which are wire strippers. Can't quite make out what's behind the strip of tape. Helping hands for electronics? We see Rylan's watch with a red band, which we also see in the next scene. Rylan donning some gloves with, is that Rocky in the background in his tunnel? To remind us of the science geek he is, Rylan is wearing a periodic table t-shirt. Is he opening a lid to a laboratory centrifuge? Maybe someone who works in the lab could explain what this is. Again, we see Rocky in the background watching Rylan work. Could this be a scene of them testing Adrian's atmosphere? Next we jump to a scene back on Earth where Rylan is trying to figure out what this amoeba-like creature they collected from Venus is. We see Strat and a few military and government officials looking on as Rylan opens the Venus sample container. Here we have Rylan in a hazmat suit right before opening the container. We'll go ahead and play this scene, but from the book.
Is this really necessary? She pressed the intercom button. There's a very good chance the sample in that cylinder is an alien life form. We're not taking any chances. Wait, you're not taking any chances, but I am. It's not like that. How is it not like that? She paused. Okay, it's exactly like that.
Back in space, we see the Hail Mary backwards heading toward Tau Ceti. Why backwards? The Hail Mary is on a brachistochrone trajectory, a direct constant thrust toward your destination for the first half of the trip, then rotating 180 degrees in the opposite direction for the second half to slow down. In the TV show The Expanse, great show by the way, they refer to this as a flip and burn, which happens at the midway point of the trip. Next is on board the Hail Mary with Rylan modifying Rocky's three-dimensional star map. He's holding a soldering iron and attaching an Earth name tag to the Sol star. A beautiful shot of Rylan performing an EVA on the hull of the Hail Mary and what I'm guessing is Adrian in the distance. The contraption on the hull, could this be the device that pulls in the chain links attached to the collection unit to try and fish for an astrophage predator? The next shot is of Ryland blowing up a latex glove. Is this for fun, or is he just preparing the glove before putting it on? I'm assuming this is on the Hail Mary in some room with the multiple cameras. Are we looking at one of the Talmiba breeder tanks? Does the chalk writing have some significance? Is this the nitrogen resistant levels? I'm open to suggestions here. Back on Earth, we see Strat looking at two people in the foreground. My first impression was Strat starting to have feelings for Ryland, but after viewing it again, I see Strat looking at Ryland, on the right I'm guessing, teaching one of these mission scientists on the left. I believe Strat is deciding right there that if things go bad, Ryland will become the tertiary science specialist for the Hail Mary mission. Another scene from the first trailer, I believe it's Strat letting Ryland experiment on the 3 astrophage at the laboratory. Here, we have an extended scene of Ryland running on the Hail Mary's hull, attached. Here's a good shot of how Ryland moves along the hull and is attached to the Hail Mary using a track of some sort. Then we have Ryland making a great catch on the Blip B. I first saw this as the same shot from the first trailer, just rotated 180 degrees. But now it looks like a completely different take, or a different scene in the movie. Here's it again, rotated. Next we have Ryland pretty banged up. I would guess this is after surviving being crushed from his chair and helping Rocky. I'm not seeing any burn marks on Ryland, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you. And another shot from the first trailer. I believe this is Ryland taping a student's picture for Rocky to see, but that is something Rocky wouldn't be able to see unless he sees it with his color to texture monitor. And another shot from the first trailer of Shapiro, Dubois, Nirendir, and Ilyukna. Last time I thought the person in the back was Commander Yao, but now I believe this is the backup engineer specialist, to be determined. Here we have a shot of Strat making a slight smile to Ryland. This looks to be in the same spot where the astrophage explodes, but maybe a different scene. Maybe Strat asking Ryland to train the crew, perhaps. I have this gut feeling they're going to play into this growing friendship between them, maybe to make it hurt more towards the end of the story when Strat makes her decision. I'd like to hear what others think about this. Next, back on the Hail Mary, we see Ryland with Rocky in the Don't Go Crazy room, or the official name, Mental Health Node. It appears we are looking through the back of one of the LED panels as Ryland interacts with Rocky and his hamster ball as fireworks go off on the screens, maybe testing out Rocky's color to texture monitor. Now this is an interesting scene. Ryland is running away from multiple people. Who are they? Not sure, but it sort of looks like soldiers in winter attire, which makes sense since the planet is getting colder. Ryland is wearing the same clothes as when he was talking to Strat in her office from the first trailer. Okay, this is a super spoiler warning. What I'm going to talk about is a major plot point and probably the biggest surprise from the book, okay? I warned you. Here's how I think Strat is going to tell Ryland he's going on the mission and how it's going to play out in the movie. Alright, Ryland's in Strat's office. She tells Ryland he's going on the mission whether he wants to or not.
This might be very hard for you to understand, but some people are not good at things.
Ryland panics and does something smart to get past the guard in her office, or maybe there's no guards and he just bolts outside and runs. Military personnel chase after Ryland and eventually tackle him to the ground. Enter bodyguard Boyce, gives him a pep talk, and tells him,
You know who you are. You're gonna do great.
Ryland responds back. He knows who he is, a coward, and he doesn't want to die, and ultimately refuses to go. Enters Strat, who tells the guards to take Ryland away and lock him up. Of course, that's my interpretation based on what I've seen in the trailers. I'm interested in hearing how others interpret these scenes. Next, we get a stunning shot of the Hail Mary orbiting the planet Adrian with its aurora lights, suggesting Adrian has a strong magnetic field. Cut to a scene of Ryland after waking up from a coma based on his hair and beard length. He's holding a dry erase marker, which we see him use within the Hail Mary. I imagine he's getting a little frustrated by not knowing who he is. Or he's just tired of hearing,
Please state your name. Please state your name.
Another shot from the first trailer, which we can definitely say this is the Don't Go Crazy room with Rocky. Here's a great shot of the Hail Mary skipping Adrian's atmosphere with Ryland on the hull. My guess, he's making his way along the hull to gather the Adrian atmosphere collector. Another shot from the first trailer, but this one is extended. It's of Ryland being crushed by his chair with the increasing gravity from the damaged fuel tanks. This time we see him trying to reach a switch, the centrifuge switch, to extend the living quarters and lab to reduce the gravity pushing on Ryland. Our final scene before the title. Ryland tells Rocky it's now or never. Are they starting their trip to Adrian, or possibly Arid? And there he is, our first unobscured view of Rocky. I gotta say, I'm happy to see Rocky like this. Hollywood could have made him extra cute or added a face. Thank goodness they didn't. A few things about Rocky. He appears to be wearing an armband on one of his legs. On another leg, we see 3 white lines around his leg. His 3 hind legs look to be split. Could be his front 2 legs are like arms for more delicate work, and the 3 back legs are for movement and grasping onto walls or whatever. Also, in Rocky's chair, he has his own flight stick. Could be to help steer the ship back to the blip A using the beetles for thrust. That could explain the system error on screen if they bypass the main engines. Then we see the Hail Mary engage its centrifuge system. It extends the main livable areas of the ship via cables and then rotates it 90 degrees. This is different from the book, as the living quarters would extend and then rotate a full 180 degrees. And finally, we get the title, Project Hail Mary, along with a fist bump in the tunnel.
Call it fist bump, by the way. Fist my bump? No, it's fist bump. It's not the same.
In the back, we see Rocky giving himself a couple fist bumps, and on the translator computer, we do see Rocky say, "is same." Thank you to everyone who worked on the movie. March 20th cannot get here fast enough. And that is it. The Project Hail Mary second trailer breakdown. Thank you all for watching this video. I can't thank you enough for all the support and great comments. And until next time, push the button, Frank.
Guess you could say the factory's still open, but we're making different stuff now.
Would you just push the button?
The button.